A shocking escalation in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Reports are emerging of an intercontinental ballistic missile attack. On top of that, a new threat has surfaced, with Poland warned it could risk its statehood. What does this mean for global stability and for those of us focused on preparedness? Welcome to Preppers News from Preppers Paradigm, where we bring you the latest updates on events that impact preppers. Today's episode dives into Russia's reported ICBM attack on Ukraine, a chilling development in the ongoing conflict. We'll also discuss recent warnings from a Putin ally targeting Poland, a NATO member, and what these developments could mean for the future. Before we continue, I want to mention that this video is narrated using a computer-generated voice. This is due to an injury that makes recording my own voice difficult, but I remain committed to bringing you timely and relevant updates. Let's break down the key developments shaping this rapidly evolving situation. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russia launched an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, targeting Ukraine. This marks a significant escalation in the conflict, as ICBMs are typically associated with long-range, high-impact strikes designed for maximum destruction. Ukraine has condemned the attack, calling it an act of aggression that pushes the boundaries of conventional warfare. While exact details about the impact are still emerging, this move underscores the increasingly volatile nature of the war. Adding to the tension is a recent warning from Dmitry Medvedev, a close ally of Vladimir Putin. Earlier this month, he issued a statement cautioning Poland that it risks losing its statehood. This warning follows Poland's strong support for Ukraine and its increasing role as a NATO frontline. Taken together, these events suggest a pattern of heightened aggression and growing risks for countries bordering the conflict zone. The implications are serious, not just for Ukraine, but for the wider region, including NATO allies like Poland, and for the whole world. These developments raise significant questions about what might happen next in the region and beyond. First, the reported ICBM attack on Ukraine represents a serious escalation. While it's not clear whether this was intended as a message or a strategic strike, the use of such a weapon could signal a willingness to push the boundaries of international norms. If this aggression continues, we could see even greater involvement from NATO, potentially leading to a broader conflict. Second, the warning issued to Poland adds another layer of complexity. As a NATO member, any direct attack on Poland could invoke Article 5, which requires all NATO allies to come to its defense. This would shift the conflict from a regional war into a direct confrontation between NATO and Russia, a scenario with far-reaching consequences for global stability. There's also the risk of indirect consequences. These might include further disruption of global supply chains, particularly in critical areas like energy and food, as well as heightened political tensions worldwide. Nations outside the immediate conflict zone may find themselves navigating an increasingly polarized international environment, with alliances hardening and diplomatic relations strained. For preppers, this highlights the importance of watching these developments closely. While no one can predict the future with certainty, understanding the potential domino effects of events like these is key to staying ahead of the curve. Now let's talk about what these developments mean for those of us focused on preparedness. The reported use of an ICBM and the threats directed at Poland highlight how quickly global events can escalate. These situations can lead to significant disruptions, even for those far from the immediate conflict zones. First, consider the potential for supply chain disruptions. Eastern Europe is a key region for agriculture and manufacturing. If this conflict intensifies, it could impact global food supplies, energy availability, and the production of essential goods. Preppers should evaluate their stockpiles and focus on long-term food storage, alternative energy sources, and tools for self-reliance. Second, there's the increasing risk of geopolitical instability spreading. If Poland or other NATO countries are drawn into the conflict, it could lead to wider unrest or even full-scale war. This makes it crucial to have contingency plans in place, whether for bugging in or bugging out. Ensure you've identified safe locations, reliable routes, and the supplies needed to sustain yourself in an uncertain environment. Third, while the recent developments have raised concerns about the risk of nuclear escalation, it's important to note that there are no concrete indications of imminent nuclear weapon use. However, the rhetoric surrounding nuclear policy changes and the lowering of thresholds for potential engagement are reminders of how quickly risks can evolve. For preppers, this reinforces the importance of staying informed and being ready for a range of scenarios. Finally, there's the potential for cyber attacks or economic ripple effects. Modern conflicts often include cyber warfare that can disrupt critical infrastructure like power grids, communications, and banking systems. Consider securing cash reserves, physical backups for important documents, and alternate methods of communication like GMRS radios. This is a wake-up call to stay informed, adaptable, and proactive. Prepping isn't just about stockpiling supplies. It's about being ready to respond effectively to a rapidly changing world. To wrap up, the reported ICBM attack on Ukraine and the threats directed at Poland represent a serious escalation in an already volatile situation. These events serve as a stark reminder of how quickly conflicts can grow and the wide-reaching implications they can have, even for those far from the front lines. For preppers, the key takeaway is to stay vigilant and proactive. Assess your current plans, reinforce your stockpiles, and remain informed about global events. The interconnected nature of today's world means that even distant conflicts can have local impacts, from supply chain disruptions to heightened geopolitical tensions. We want to hear from you. How do you view these developments, and what steps are you taking to prepare? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching Preppers News from Preppers Paradigm. If you found this useful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more updates that matter to the preparedness community. Until next time, stay safe and stay prepared.